Just one click, that's all it takes to wreck a young life forever.
The alarming trend of sexting is on the rise, with police warning parents to be vigilant when it comes to kids and their mobile phones.
And now to the big trend that's driving our younger generation to commit crimes, often without knowing it, with their mobile phones. It's where they share...
Social media has changed the way we interact with one another online, and sexting has become a normal part of courtship amongst young people.
But few are aware that under tough pedophile laws, teens can be charged for sending or even possessing naked images.
Yeah, the concern for sexually explicit images is obviously a major concern for us, from young people taking those images of themselves. They give those off to a third party, and those images can be across the world. For young people, they may not realise that it's actually an offence to possess those images, create those images and distribute them to other people if they're under the age of 18, if they do it over the internet, and particularly so if they're under 16.
But what if the very act of sharing a photo could land you on the sex offender registry? A Victorian parliamentary committee is recommending a review of child pornography legislation. They are considering prosecution of those who share the images and to even go as far as placing them on the sex offender registry.
It's awful to think that we have children, not just in Australia but in the United States as well, who have done this inappropriate sexting and suddenly find themselves on the sexual offenders register, and they've got to tell people that they're living in this neighbourhood. You know, it could cause them a problem with getting a job. Now, are we protecting those kids? No, we're making it worse for them. So it's a ridiculous situation. And frankly, the government needs to take a very good close look at this, or otherwise they're making criminals out of people who are not criminals.
1 in 5 young girls have admitted to posting nude or semi-nude images of themselves online.
You know, it's there is a lot of pressure amongst young people today to conform, as it was, for many years for myself growing up. There's always that risk and those pressures, and it's important that young people realise what those risks are and that they make informed choices that don't adversely affect them at a later life.
Look, one of the big challenges that we've got these days is that once an image is created, it's very, very hard to get rid of it, especially if it's been posted up onto the internet. Once it's on one of those image sharing websites, people download it, and then it doesn't matter if you complain to the site to have the image removed, it's already out there. One of the other problems with sexting, which a lot of people don't appreciate, is that with a lot of our mobile phones these days, they embed GPS coordinates into the photo. Now here's a scary thing. You've got a young girl, say she's 14, 15, takes a photo of herself in a state of undress, posts it online. The next thing, not only is that image of her undressed spreading around the world, people have got the direct coordinates of her bedroom. They can find where she lives. Now that's particularly scary.
With pornography being so readily available to kids, it is important to have that conversation with them in the first place and highlight the dangers of sexting.
I actually think kids know more about this than what we do. Now, they're perhaps also young and immature and not thinking about the repercussions, but they know what can be done. They know better than us that once you put something online, it's there for good. And not only that, people can do things like cutting and pasting heads onto other bodies. So trying to stay in control of your own image is a particularly difficult thing to do. But the kids are aware of that. Yes, though, I do think we do need to sit down with the kids and have a good long conversation with them about the implications, especially of nude images getting out there onto the net.
For young people, I think it's important that they not give in to those pressures from a boyfriend, because there may be that relationship at some point breaks down, and once it does, our experiences have shown that those images can be maliciously transmitted across the world quite quickly.
There's a story recently, very recently in fact, of a young girl in the United States who passed out of the party, had various things done to her by some boys. They also took photos, and one of them also wrote on the girl's body, "Jeff was here." Now, you know, not only is it inappropriate, not only is it rape, not only is it sexual assault, suddenly this girl had a whole bunch of images being distributed around the school. everybody was looking at their phones, giggling when she was walking past. She ended up committing suicide. So there are real implications to that kind of behaviour, and that's the stuff that we need to explain to the kids.
And it really comes down to us as a community to be educating our young people who are growing up with this technology to be aware of those risks and take whatever action they can to minimise it. So I think it really comes back to, it's really a whole of community problem, but it must start at home with parents having that understanding of what those risks are, and having that open dialogue with their children, particularly teenage children, so that they have a clear understanding of the risks.
Social media and technology is a big part of our lives, but so is education. Educate yourself and your friends, and don't let the mistakes you make as a teenager haunt you for the rest of your life. Be smart and think twice about what you post. This has been Jacqui O'Leary reporting for Undercurrent.